Keanu Reeves had come that morning just to visit the fire zone, but when he learned about the Rodriguez family's situation, he couldn't just leave them behind. What he did would change not only that family, but the entire fire-stricken neighborhood. In December 2019, the Thomas fire that swept through Los Angeles didn't just turn forests to ash, it reduced hundreds of people's dreams to rubble. The Rodriguez family, living in the Malibu Hills, was among the victims of this disaster. Maria Rodriguez, 38, was a strong woman and mother of 3 children. She and her husband Carlos had lived in that house for 15 years. For 12-year-old Sofia, 9-year-old Diego, and 6-year-old Isabella, that house wasn't just shelter, it was a world filled with memories. That terrible night, the fire had engulfed the neighborhood with unexpected speed. They woke to sirens, fleeing their home with only the clothes on their backs. They didn't even have a chance to look behind them. "Mommy, where are my toys?" little Isabella had asked when they were moved to safety. Maria's throat had tightened. How could she explain to her 6-year-old daughter that all her toys were gone? After the fire was extinguished, the scene that remained was heartbreaking. 20 years of their lives, photographs, the living room where their children had taken first steps, Maria's wedding dress inherited from her mother, everything had become a pile of black ash. Carlos was a construction worker, and they had no insurance. Nothing will happen to us anyway, they had thought. Now they realized that thought had been a big mistake. All they had was a few days' time to stay in the temporary aid tent provided by the Red Cross.
"Papi, what are we going to do now?" Sofia had asked, leaning on her father's shoulder. Though Carlos tried to appear strong, he couldn't hide the desperation in his eyes. Just then, a famous visitor had entered the aid camp. Keanu Reeves had come to visit the fire victims, to give them moral support. He drew attention with his simple clothes, sincere smile, and warm approach. While walking through the camp, he had heard little Isabella crying. When he approached, he saw the remains of a burnt teddy bear she was holding. "Hello, little princess," he had said, kneeling beside Isabella. "Was this your special friend?" Isabella nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. "His name was Oso. We always slept together when I was a baby, but now he's sick too." Maria had approached them, saying embarrassedly, "I'm sorry, my daughter is a bit upset. We lost everything." Keanu had stood up, looking into Maria's eyes. In those eyes wasn't just material loss, but a mother's helplessness, the fear of a woman who didn't know how to provide a future for her 3 children. "My name is Keanu," he had said, extending his hand. "Could I hear your story?" Maria, Carlos, and the children had sat in front of their tent, telling him about their last 2 days. Carlos's fear of losing his job, the children not being able to go to school, the problem of finding shelter. Every word burned Keanu's heart more. "Sofia loves school very much," Maria had said. "She participates in math Olympics. She'll be starting high school next year. But now, what do you want to do now, Sofia?" Keanu had asked, turning to the smart girl. Sofia had shyly said, "I want to be a doctor, to help sick people." "That's a wonderful goal. So, Diego, what do you want to do?" "I'm going to be a soccer player," Diego had said excitedly, "like Messi." Isabella had also added, "I'm going to be a princess and help everyone," while clutching her teddy bear tightly.
That conversation had deeply affected Keanu. This wasn't just a family, it meant 3 children's futures, 3 dreams facing the danger of extinction. "Could you wait a moment?" he had said and taken out his phone. He made several calls, took notes. 20 minutes later, he had returned, but this time he wasn't alone. A woman who was a real estate expert was with him. "Maria, Carlos, I want to talk to you," he had said. "First, let's meet the urgent needs for the children." He had handed Maria an envelope he took from his bag. "This is the first aid, $15,000 for clothes, school supplies, daily needs." Carlos's eyes had widened. "But sir, we can't pay this back." "You don't have to pay it back,"
Keanu had said with a smile. "But when your conditions improve in the future, I'll ask you to help another family." Then he had pointed to the woman beside him. "This is Sarah, my real estate expert. We found a suitable rental house for you. I'll pay the 6-month rent. You can get back on your feet during this time." Maria couldn't believe her eyes. "But why? You don't even know us." "Because everyone needs a second chance," Keanu had said, "and because these children deserve a future." But this was just the beginning. Keanu shared the Rodriguez family situation on his social media accounts, but he did this in a way that would protect their dignity. Instead of creating any pitiful situation, he focused on a family's struggle to stay strong. "Sometimes life tests us," he had written on Instagram, "but human resilience and community solidarity always prevail. The Rodriguez family doesn't lose hope during this difficult process. We stand by them too." This post went viral. Thousands of people commented, hundreds indicated they wanted to help. But Keanu took action to organize this. A week later, he called his close friend, director Christopher Nolan. "Chris, I need your support for a project." "Of course. What do you want to do?" "I want to establish a permanent aid fund for fire victim families. But not just money, education, job opportunities, psychological support."
Christopher Nolan joined the project. Many famous friends like Sandra Bullock, Charlize Theron, Robert Downey Jr. also gave support. Within a month, the Phoenix Rising Fund was established. The initial target was $2 million, but they reached $5 million in 2 weeks. A special program was prepared for the Rodriguez family. Sofia was given special education in mathematics and science, university preparation courses, and a scholarship guarantee for medical school. Diego was enrolled in a soccer academy. Professional trainer support was provided. Isabella was organized art and drama courses, child development specialist support. Carlos was given a $50,000 business loan to start his own business in the construction sector. Maria was sponsored for accounting courses and certification programs so she could contribute to the family economy. But most importantly, a psychological support program was started for families. Post-traumatic stress disorder specialists and family counselors were brought in. 6 months later, the Rodriguez family had settled into their new home. Carlos had started a small construction company. Maria had obtained her accounting certificate. Sofia had come first in California in the Math Olympics. Diego had become the star of the local soccer team, and Isabella was playing the lead role in the school theater group.
But the story didn't end there. Keanu didn't limit the Phoenix Rising Fund to just the Rodriguez family. He expanded it for all fire victim families in California. Over 200 families were provided with homes, education, job opportunities. A year later, Maria called Keanu. "Keanu, I want to tell you something." "I'm listening, Maria." "Carlos and I made a decision. Our business is going well, we have savings. Now we want to help another family too." "That's wonderful. What are you thinking?" "Last week we saw a flood victim family on TV. They have 3 children, a very similar situation to what we experienced. We want to help them." Keanu had smiled. This was what he wanted. The chain effect of help, kindness growing and spreading. "I support you, Maria. Let's help them as the Phoenix Rising Fund too." 2 years later, Sofia was accepted into Stanford University's pre-med program. Diego was selected for the state soccer team. Isabella won first place in the National Children's Literature Competition with a poem she wrote at a young age. Carlos's company had grown, becoming a business employing 15 people. Maria had opened an accounting office, serving especially small businesses. But most importantly, the Rodriguez family had become volunteer ambassadors for the Phoenix Rising Fund. They gave talks at schools before every fire season, creating awareness about disaster preparedness. "That fire destroyed our lives," Maria would say in her speeches. "But afterward we learned that sometimes destruction is the beginning of rebirth. Most importantly, those who stand by us in our difficult time.
5 years later, the Phoenix Rising Fund had reached a budget of $15 million and had helped over 1,000 families. But it wasn't just fire victims. It supported all natural disaster victims, like floods, earthquakes, hurricanes. Sofia was then a medical student at Stanford and worked as a volunteer at the Phoenix Rising Fund during summers. "I said I wanted to be a doctor and help people," she would say. "Thanks to Uncle Keanu, this help started in me at a very early age." Diego was one step away from becoming a professional soccer player. MLS teams were interested in him, but he never forgot to mention the Phoenix Rising Fund with every success. Isabella had become a high school student, leading social responsibility projects at a young age. With her Children for Children project, she encouraged her classmates to help disaster victim children. 6 years after that terrible fire night, the Rodriguez family had bought their own house in Malibu. But this time, it was a modern house equipped with fire-resistant materials and security systems. Keanu was there on the day they moved into the house. "How do you feel?" he had asked. "Grateful," Carlos had said. "Not just for the house, but for the second chance we were given." "This wasn't a chance, Carlos," Keanu had said. "This was a life you deserved. You just needed some support." That evening, there was a small celebration at the house. Sofia had come from university, Diego joined after training, Isabella presented her school project. "Let's make a toast," Maria had said, holding a glass of milk. "That fire could have destroyed us, but instead it made us stronger, more united, and more hopeful." "To Uncle Keanu," Isabella had said. "To Phoenix Rising," Diego had said. "To second chances," Sofia had said. "To being a family," Carlos had said. "And to never giving up," Maria had said. Keanu's eyes had filled with tears, experiencing the happiness of witnessing that moment. The journey that began for the Rodriguez family had changed thousands of people's lives. Because sometimes you don't need to be famous to be an angel. You just need to notice, care, and take action. That destructive night of fire had seemed like an ending for the Rodriguez family, but in reality, it was just a new beginning. And this beginning had changed not only their lives, but countless people's lives forever. Just as the phoenix rises from its ashes, the Rodriguez family had also risen from the ashes of that fire, stronger, more hopeful, more united. And now they were helping others have the same hope.